The theory is it's not like there's a difference between immortal and immortal. So immortal, you can die. Like you're not going to age. So if you stay in your lawn, playing cricket on your lawn forever, you'll never die.
Right.
But if you get hit by a bus or if you crash or whatever, you will.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So the theory is if we know all this, nobody will take any risk.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to part 4 and 5 of our book review of Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari. We're going to combine part 4 and 5 because last week we missed out on 1 week. So don't look for part 4 or 5. This is it combined together. So today we're going to explore the last section of the book called the Scientific Revolution. And it was one of my favorite parts of the book, to be honest. And I think we could kick this off by exploring the name of the chapter number 14, which is the first in the part 4, and its name. It is essentially called The Discovery of Ignorance. So, what did you guys think of that chapter's title?
It's very accurate.
Yeah.
It's very, very accurate because it's kind of crazy when you think that all these years they just were ignorant to the fact that they didn't know much.
Yeah.
When you think you know everything, there's no need to discovery or to try to get better and find out a source.
Yeah.
But as soon as you figure out, holy, there's some stuff I don't know.
Seriously.
Then curiosity can come in, and then we can have a scientific revolution.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Makes me think of what we might not know today.
Just they had to create tools.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they had to create tools to find this out, and then by finding this out, you're gonna find this out, and then by finding this out, you're gonna get there, and then it's like you're going into a rabbit hole, and you can go in so many different directions.
Infinite.
Yeah.
You were talking about the gentleman who who looked through the microscope the first time. What's his name again? You wrote it down, right?
Anton van Leeuwenhoek.
Mr. Van Leeuwenhoek.
And
reminds me of Horton Hears a Who. You guys seen that movie? You got kids? No? So Horton finds like a speck, and in that speck there's life form. There's the Who's.
Yes.
Whoville. It's really cool. Anyways, check it out.
So Anton, I did have to research how you pronounce his name, because if you see his name, it doesn't sound anything, but it is Leeuwenhoek. And for the first 50 years after he looked through a microscope for the first time, he was essentially the first person to see those organisms. Everything he would look at, he would be the first human to ever see it. And that's fascinating to think about it.
When was this? What year was this?
1740, no,
39, I think.
I've got it right here, 1674.
1674, okay.
So the author here declares that 1674 is the start of the scientific revolution, because when Anton looked through the microscope for the first time, he had no names for blood cells.
Yeah, but you know what?
No names for anything that he saw. And he called what he saw little animals.
Little animals.
That's what he called them.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, there were mathematicians before then.
Yes.
Like they had, laws of physics. Like when did Isaac Newton discover the gravity? When was this?
I don't know. I'm not
Because that's
too
part
sure.
of science.
It is, but it's not something that you see physically, right? Like it's all like it's made up stuff. Mathematicians, it's all like, things that they think of.
Math was before.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
But looking through the microscope is when we realize that there's a whole lot more than just what we're seeing.
That's
Like
it.
we
Microscope made
little
it that
animals
there's
crawling all over us. Like, can you imagine the first time that guy saw that? Went to bed like all creeped out. I need to wash my sheets.
like it's
Seriously.
moving and it's alive.
Crazy.
So for you guys,
Bacteria and parasites.
what would be the start of the scientific revolution? I mean, he's hinted towards it being the discovery of the microorganisms in
And I 100%
1674.
agree.
I think for me, I think that's it. That's when we knew that we didn't know everything.
Mm-hmm.
The discovery of ignorance. That's
I think it was probably when they started understanding math.
Yeah.
Because without math, he would have never been able to build that microscope. So he built the tool to find the bacteria and the parasites. I think it's even before 1649. But you're right. Like, you can't see it.
Did this guy invent a lens or something? Like, how the hell did he build the microscope?
So no, lenses existed before then.
Like, when you create the tool.
Because essentially a microscope is just a series of lenses.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Well, Galileo was the first one to look through a telescope, and they had lenses back then, and that was way before 1674.
But like, you're discovering planets. Like,
But he knew that there was something out there.
No, but it's like the revolution. I think it's just that like it happened before, like the Industrial Revolution. Like there was some industrialism before, but the revolution when everything changed, I think is a little bit different.
Like, let's be honest. Figuring out these bacteria and parasites actually helped cure a lot of
diseases,
right? And that had a bigger impact than discovering the moon or planet Mars.
Yeah.
You know? Like, that had a much bigger impact. Like, understanding the surface of the earth is not as important as healing someone.
Seriously, yeah.
So that's maybe, you know what? 1649 might be it. There's arguments both ways, but like, I think it had a major impact.
1674?
Started discovering 1649.
There's another important event that happened not that long ago, and it was the detonation of the first nuclear weapon in 1945. Now, my question to you gentlemen is, does that continue the scientific revolution, or does it start a new era?
I think there are two different subjects.
Or is it the start of the end?
Could be.
Well, the point that he made in the book was that the atomic bomb is essentially a deterrent to war.
Yeah.
It's not that it's going to kill everybody. It's that before you can attack somebody, it goes well or it doesn't, but then you move on. With the nuke bomb, it's different. We can all die tomorrow if they all go off. Right?
Yes.
So you have to be careful. So you can't just, tomorrow we attack China. No, they can just nuke us as much as we can nuke them.
Yes.
So I've never heard that point of nuclear bombs being a deterrent to wars, but I think it makes total sense.
Yeah, it's the acronym MAD, Mutually Assured Destruction.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why they've never been used after the Japan War. Did you guys see that scene in the first Wolverine where the atomic bomb goes off?
I don't remember it.
In Nagasaki? Anyways, it's pretty crazy. Anyways.
But he's calling it the single most remarkable and defining moment of the last 500 years.
The detonation of the first nuke.
Yeah.
Because it kickstarted everything, right? Like it was like a boost.
Moment. Like, come on.
Yeah.
I guess so. But like,
that's
man, they created. So he's talking about the last 500. They created the plane.
No, for sure. But he also explains how scientists put their heads together trying to figure out different stuff, and they created things out of mistakes. I forget the examples that he gives, but like trying to figure out how to make a bigger, better bomb. They figure out different stuff, right? That's what kickstarted the entire. Continued the.
Have you guys seen the documentary on Einstein, the National Geographic one?
No, but there's a really good book about him.
Well, so the documentary is based on the book. So at one point, so they were working on the nuclear bomb, and they were sure that the Germans had it, and Einstein didn't want to work on the project because of obvious reasons. But then they assured Einstein that the Germans were about to discover it, and that if the Germans discover it, it's game over for everybody.
Yeah.
Because they're going to nuke Britain, they're going to nuke tons of people. Mm-hmm. So then Einstein started working on the project. They got it done. They figured it out. They nuked Japan by the time it happened and all that. And they figured out afterwards that Germany wasn't even close.
Yeah.
They didn't have it. So what it did at the time, though, is that the Americans had a superpower because of that. And then all the other countries are like, no, we can't let them be the only superpower. So the investment that came after that, just for that kind of stuff, from all the countries in the world to be up to par with them, I think maybe is one of the reasons they changed everything. Mm-hmm. Because after that, the investment just poured in.
Seriously. There was a big incentive.
You had to.
Yeah.
You had to. Like, country like North Korea that is trying to produce them, not because they want to nuke anybody, just because they want to say, I have one, so don't attack me. That's the only reason they want it. Because if they have one, now they can't just be attacked because there's a fear that they will nuke somebody.
I wonder what would happen if you attack a nuclear bomb. Like if you drop a nuclear bomb on another nuclear bomb.
If they all explode?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it's like a controlled thing where
stuff needs to mix.
Yeah.
So that's how it works. So like you have, I can't say what it is, but there's different compartments, and then when it triggers, stuff mixed, and then it goes crazy.
Sounds like Inception.
I would have loved to have Cedrick in the Manhattan Project in 1942. So you're gonna have stuff mixing. This is how it works. So we've talked about the nuke, and today I think there is another arms race, and that's AI. Right? I've heard it said a few times that the first nation to discover AI will rule the world. So do you think that's the same reason why most countries are investing in development of AI? Because they're worried that somebody else will discover it first?
So when I think of AI, I think of algorithms.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go back a little bit in the book on some of the things that changed the scientific revolution, but specifically in finance, when they started calculating probabilities and insurances. I'm not sure when they started with insurances, but he talks about that in the book.
Yes.
So for example, who to insure, what the probabilities of this person dying at this age, what's causing cancer, what's causing this disease, what's the likelihood of this culture or this ethnic group getting those diseases and all that stuff, and how they actually made the insurance business profitable.
It was the Irish priests. That's what he mentioned in the book.
Yeah.
The Scottish ministers.
Scottish ministers.
I mixed them up too.
Yeah,
I feel bad.
So,
well, I just didn't remember.
Probability calculations such as those used by the two Scottish ministers became the foundation, not merely of actual science, which is central to the pension and insurance business, but also of the science demography.
Yeah. Well, it revolutionized the whole data because they needed data to make it happen, right? Yeah. So then they needed census, they needed a bunch of stuff, and then it started, and people are starting to say, hey, you know what, this is useful for this and this and that, let's have more. So now they study more.
And then you start profiling somebody and all that stuff, right? So now, that's almost a human touch, like when you're looking at something. So if you turn that into an algorithm, which therefore becomes AI, then, like, what will happen when one AI, like one algorithm messes up, everything else is gonna mess up.
Yeah, it's kind of scary.
Like if you have an electric car and it's all based onto one system, if there's one mistake in that one system, every single car on the road is gonna fuck up.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
So like, man, you need to be very careful with that.
Some guys are terrified of it. Elon Musk said that, he needs to protect, well, not he needs, but we need to have, insurance methods in place to protect ourselves against AI. And that's why he's investing so much in what is called Neuralink, where he wants to combine, the human mind with technology so that the power will not be centralized. It's essentially we'll have 7 billion superhumans out there versus one superpower.
So is that the end of Homo sapiens?
I think the end of Sapiens was a long time ago.
The Homo Deus, he talks a lot about he calls them Homo sapiens 2.0 or sapiens 2.0.
Yeah.
Because there is a part where he talks about how scientists are trying to bring back Neanderthals, and bringing
That's
back
crazy.
like starting with he does talk about too like growing body parts on lab rats, like an ear that happened like in 1996, I think.
Yeah, it was
somewhere
a few
in the
decades
90s,
ago.
like growing an ear on a mouse. Jesus.
Well, have you seen? There was a movie anyway. Not the greatest movie, but the premise for what we're talking is
Starship Troopers.
Flowers for Algernon.
I don't know the title. Anyway, so essentially they cloned a bunch of humans. So let's just say I'm rich. I make a clone of me.
The Island.
They were in the desert, and So they were essentially in a desert with like inside a big dome.
Is this like a hypothetical idea? Or is this
Well, it's a movie. It's just a movie.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah.
And anyway, so everybody that was rich, they paid into the system. They had a clone of themselves in this area, protected area. They would feed them perfectly, like exercise, so they're very, very healthy. And then when something happens to you, you need a heart, you need a liver, you whatever. Yeah. They just take that person, kill that person, and take that heart, and it's your DNA. It's perfectly your stuff, right? So yeah,
just in a different body.
Just a different body, but it's your DNA.
Yeah.
So,
but what happens to you? Like, that's so messed up. Like, what happens to your memory? What happens to your?
No. They're only taking the heart. They're not taking the brain.
Oh.
So like it's just you have heart disease. You need a heart. So we're gonna take the heart from that clone of you, which is your exact matching DNA.
Might as well take the lungs also.
Well, everything. While you're there, right?
Yeah, while you're at
the same time. So that was the idea. And so essentially, they're all there, and they learn to talk. They learn because they want them to interact between each other because they're human beings, right? And then when something happens to their clone or their owner, they win the lottery.
Yeah.
And then they get out of there. They think they won the lottery and they're free, but really they're just killed.
Up.
Yeah.
Whew.
That's the movie.
That's wild.
Movie review.
But we've done
Cedrick.
clones. Like clones are possible.
Yeah.
There haven't, that we know of. We don't know there's been any human clones because of the ethical dilemma. But technically, it's possible.
In China?
Japan.
In Japan?
Japan, it's legal.
What's it called though?
They're starting to mix human DNA with pork DNA, and they're growing organs that would not be rejected by the human body inside of pigs. So that's the implications.
Because the pig anatomy is very close to the.
Yeah, I mean, it says that the pig is like the closest thing.
I'm actually for that. I don't have a problem with that.
So that's harvesting organs.
That's playing God though. Like we're already futuristic if you think about it. Like the book ends, and it makes me want to read Homo Deus now because I just want to see the next part. We're already living in the future. We're already godlike sapiens.
What's
playing
we're not
with stuff like that?
We're not tampering with you. We're not tampering with you.
No,
we're just creating organs for us.
But why are we allowed to do that? Like, what gives us the right to fucking...
Why wouldn't you be allowed?
Because here's the thing.
You're gonna be saved.
But here's the thing. There is no way of telling if these organs are actually going to possibly, like, it's coming out of a freaking pig.
If it's gonna last.
Like, there's no equations that can predict whether it's gonna generate new bacteria or new diseases.
Yeah, that's another
that can be introduced to the human body and we don't yet have a cure for it.
Absolutely, and that I agree. The assumption, if they actually start doing it, assuming they've done their due diligence, it shouldn't, right? And I agree that we'll never know until years later on. I think the biggest question we should ask ourselves is, what's the line? Where do we stop?
It's always moving.
No, but what's the ethical line?
Yeah.
When we play God.
Well, we're already there, so we stop now.
Okay, so I'll give you another example. So there's a Chinese scientist that he played with the DNA of an embryo, and
human embryo.
A human embryo, and this girl, is now born with no possible way of having HIV. That's what he played with.
That's good.
Exactly. That's good.
Yeah.
The problem is, what's the line? So, because they can apparently work and cure cancer, cure heart disease this way, so you're born not having it. However, what happens when they start making somebody with bigger muscles that can run faster, that can be smarter, that can be so? There is going to be an ethical line that we're going to have to put somewhere. The problem is the rules are not the same in every single country. So what if China and Russia can do whatever they want? They create superpowers.
Can't wait for the Olympics in 2042.
Well, there you go. So now we're testing for steroids. Now we're going to test, like, are you like a modified DNA human, right?
Yeah.
Like it's...
So, okay. Here's the thing. Some people believe that death is just an illness.
Yeah.
It's just a what, sir?
An illness. They think that death is a glitch in the human body, right? So they actually believe that they can prevent death. But let's say you do prevent death. Let's say humans can live forever. Then what the fuck is the point of life? Like, go smoke. Like, there's going to be a bunch of drug addicts. There's going to be a bunch of smokers, a bunch of, like, at that point, like, if there's no death, then there is no life.
That's one of the oldest stories in all of written history. It's the epic of Gilgamesh, right?
What's his best friend's name again? I already forget.
Enkidu.
Enkidu.
So Gilgamesh is it's one of the first stories ever written down on tablets in ancient Iraq, Mesopotamia, and this guy he makes friend with this creature called Enkidu, and he becomes his best friend, and then his best friend
finds him in the woods, I think.
Yeah, finds him in the woods, kind of like I did with you a while ago.
Exactly.
And then
cute story.
His best friend dies, and so Gilgamesh watches his best friend die, and he's saddened by it. So he goes on this, eternal,
Do you remember how he
mega
dies?
journey to. He gets killed by
After
a goddess.
The first beast,
Yeah.
they meet the first goddess, and she asks Gilgamesh. I know, I listened to it this morning.
That's fine.
Anyways, and then the goddess, I forget her name, asks Gilgamesh to be her lover.
What is
he
this?
says no.
Where
and
did
then
you listen to it?
On YouTube.
So
I'll
what's it
show you
called?
the link.
The Epic of
The Epic of
Gilgamesh.
Gilgamesh.
Okay.
So she sends the bull of heaven after him, kills it, and then Enkidu arrives and says, well, let's not stop there, let's kill her. Took a piece of the bull, slapped her with it, and killed her.
Hurt her.
Hurt her, and then she killed him.
Yes.
So that's about how far I went with this story.
So, anyways, Gilgamesh is saddened by the death of his loved one, and he goes on this journey to discover immortality.
Slaps her with a piece of meat.
And it's kind of ironic, it being the first story ever written, this character is searching for immortality, and he sort of discovered it by being the first story written down. 4,000 years later, we're still talking about him. That's fascinating. So my question is, will we ever complete Gilgamesh's quest on our search for immortality?
Yeah.
Right? And Yuval speaks about this in the book. There was this queen that had, 16 kids? And only 2 of them lived past 32 years old?
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't that long ago. Was it, what was her name? Queen Eleanor? In 1240. Yeah, she had 16 kids.
Yeah,
Number 1 died at birth. Number 2 died at age 3. Number 3, 6 months old.
I mean,
4, 5 years old.
We've managed to defeat the most contagious diseases.
Okay, well, is that playing God?
But Queen Eleanor, it was
What's playing
normal.
God, right?
It is.
It was normal for her, right? Not until her 8th child did he live past 30. And he died at 35.
In Canada is what now? 75?
82.
82?
Yeah.
Holy smokes, man. I don't think I'll go past 45.
No, I'm content with that. 80 something.
I'm the opposite. I'm going to 115.
Yeah, take me to the top.
Like, I'm trying to get there. Like, when I see somebody like David Sinclair, whose sole purpose in life is to cure aging, like, he believes that aging is the number 1 disease in the world. Everybody has it. Why not try to cure that one? Like, this is the most important disease of all.
Yeah.
So,
Just like scurvy was, scurvy would kill half of its sailors, right?
I
so
just think
half
if
of the people.
If you know you're gonna die, like, there's actually an app that you can buy, or you can get, and it reminds you 5 times a day that you're gonna die one day.
That's
You'd be doing nothing. You'd be like, watching a show of Netflix, and you get it on your iWatch, on your Apple Watch. Oh, you're gonna die soon. It's like, okay, I better get something done here.
It comes back to, though, if you know that you will not die, okay, or because the theory is, it's not like there's a difference between immortal and immortal. So immortal, you can die. Like you're not going to age. So if you stay in your lawn, playing cricket on your lawn forever, you'll never die. Right. But if you get hit by a bus or if you crash or whatever, you will. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So the theory is, if we know all this, like nobody will take any risk. So we'll just stay home because we're scared of dying, because we can live forever if we don't, and all the pleasures are going to be gone.
But if you stay home and you live this life,
yeah, what's the point? I agree.
You live this life of just not doing anything, and you just become fat, you're going to die from a heart attack.
Well, if not, if you're immortal, right? But the theory between the theory of being immortal with all these like pills and stuff like that is you will be like that because you will stay in shape. Your DNA is not gonna decompose itself.
So you have to basically take pills.
Well, so it would be pills or eat the exactly perfectly, or because when you age, when you age, essentially what happens is that some of your DNA is like the way that David Sinclair puts it is there's a scratch on a CD. So the more like you go under the sun, the more you age, there's more scratches. So with eating right and eating the right stuff and supplements, it removes those scratches. So it's just like
Christmas won't be the same.
Why?
Because you want to eat like crap. You're going to stay up late. You're going out in the cold.
But why do you want to eat like crap? That's the big question I have, and I do. I'm like that too.
There's comfort foods and just traditions,
but that's because you've been told, and that's what you've done your whole life, that drinking is cool. We're having fun together. But what if going for a run is now the cool thing, and eating your broccoli is their cool thing?
Nobody's gonna go for a run on Christmas Eve with their families
because it's not cool, and nobody wants to do it. I don't want to do it either. I'm not saying I do, but that's
put both of them together. You can run while being drunk.
Well,
that's
but that's what the social norm is, right?
Listen, I totally agree with what you're saying. I'm just playing devil's advocate, but I think people are a lot more. They need that time off. Okay, they need to, and that's the whole purpose of like the Christmas holidays. It's like you're giving almost the entire country 2 weeks to just be lazy, and like and you almost need that because you it gives you an excuse to go hang out with your family, to exchange love and gifts and all this, whatever.
So what does the fact that you'll die one day?
No, the traditions of those holidays, right? And part of that tradition is to drink eggnog or whatever you drink, and to just be to eat your mom's meals and stuff like that. Like it brings you comfort. That tradition brings you comfort.
How long has that tradition been there?
Forever, man.
I don't believe that.
Forever.
Christmas hasn't been around forever.
Christmas has been around it was maybe a little different.
Yeah. The point I'm just trying to make is that...
But it did get the family together.
It's a tradition that evolved into what it is today. And now it's being marketed everywhere, so everybody knows about it, and that's how they want to portray it, and there's a nostalgia within it, so that's kind of what you want to do.
I'm not talking about Santa Claus. Like, Santa Claus was created by Coca-Cola.
Yeah. No, but the point I'm trying to make is that these traditions can evolve.
Yeah.
And I'm not even saying I want it, because I enjoy the traditions right now. Like, I can't wait for Christmas. But if it would evolve into the same thing, but instead of turkey and eggnog, it's whatever that's healthy, and it doesn't matter because what's important is we're all still together and we're having fun, right? It could.
They are working on healthy bacon.
I'm not saying it will.
Bacon's
I'm not saying it will, but it could.
Omega-3s instead of fats.
Yeah, but there are some studies that fats are good for you.
Yeah. Now it's sugars that's bad for you. We're always gonna come up with something bad for you.
Man, I don't know. I agree with you. In the perfect world,
I'm not even saying it's a perfect world because I enjoy it the way it is right now. But my point is that the tradition could evolve, that it is healthy, and in 100 years, people are going to be like, so they knew it would make them die and they'd still do it. How stupid were they, right?
Well, we're going to need some sort of rush in our lives.
Happy with
it's going to be like jumping off cliffs in the future. Like being immortal and immortal, the problem with that is space, like Earth itself. Like it won't be able to contain all these people that aren't dying. Like something's gonna happen. Something's gonna have to happen.
Yeah.
Like
something's gonna happen to the Earth.
Like maybe our next step is to find another.
I'm not convinced that the population would go, sky high if immortality was achievable, because
just like everyone's gonna want into it.
Yeah, because just like the nuclear weapon, the threat of another country's having nuclear weapon was a motivation for you to get up and build your own weapons. Death is sort of a motivation for you to make stuff happen in your life.
Yeah.
You want to hang out next weekend? No, we've got an eternity, man. I'm just gonna.
But like being immortal, when you end, like when you finish that,
we talk about population.
Yeah.
Right. And I wrote this down here. Listen to this. In 1500, few cities had more than 100,000 inhabitants. Most buildings were constructed of mud, wood, and straw. Mm-hmm. And three-story buildings were considered skyscrapers. Okay? The streets were rutted with dirt tracks plied by pedestrians, horses, goats, chickens, and a few carts. The most common urban noises were humans and animal voices, along with the occasional hammer and saw. Right? The more you build, the more people are. And
so this
kids, and if you become immortal or immortal, you're giving people an opportunity to live a longer life, probably have kids at a later age, and then what kind of impact will that have on the new kids coming out? Like you're sure you're not gonna die, or the disease is going to be cured, but now you're thinking about, okay, well, if a lady is going to have a kid at the age of 50 or 55, what kind of kid is going to come out? Because her body is not perfect either. Like her body's still aging briefly.
From what I know anyway, the problem is not with how the kid's going to be. The kid's going to be healthy. It's her. So it's her body that's going to react negatively. It's tough on her. Okay. Her, because she's not as in shape as before.
Okay, so a baby
I can't tell you science, but
so a baby that is born with a 50-year-old or 60-year-old is perfectly healthy.
I don't think it changed anything for the baby.
Okay.
I'm not the expert, but I think it's harder on her. More risks of
that's
things
what
happening.
I would think. Yeah.
All this to say, Marty, is that I disagree with you. I think that by without dying,
having
immortality, the population will increase substantially.
So
it will never stop.
I think
like we're at 7 billion now. We'll be at 20 billion.
So where's the population increase coming in now? Right? Poorest countries.
Life expectancy.
No, but
what's your question?
No. So the increase in population right now on planet Earth is coming from the poorer countries. Mm-hmm. It's the education that's the problem.
Can I add to that real quick? We have a doctor friend who's a vasectomist.
Yes, that's how you say it.
So he's in Haiti right now, giving out free vasectomies to help out. How crazy is that? We're just, I don't know.
Too many kids.
Well, yeah, just no.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's the education and that is lacking, and if you look at us here, if we remove immigration, our population is not going up; it's going down.
If you remove immigration?
Yeah. So
less people are having kids.
That's it. Mm-hmm. So I think the average is 1.4 or 1.7, something like that. It's under 2 anyway. Wow. So it's actually going down because of the education. Some people don't want kids. Some people don't want 4, 5, 6, right? Because the theory in some countries is the more kids you have, the more workers you're going to get on your farm. Right? So when you remove that part, it doesn't happen anymore. So assuming that we live longer, technically we should be a bit smarter because we have more experience, we have more all of that. We educate ourselves better, and that part of high population growth should dwindle a little bit. So I don't think that it would result as being super, if we and think about it, who's going to age, who's going to benefit of that first? It'd probably be us, not the poor countries.
True.
Right? Yeah. So it's not going to change anything for them. It'll just change things for us.
Do you guys see the link with why he's talking about people chasing to find out what happiness is, what being happy is, and how we don't know how to explain what it is because it's inside of us. So is chasing immortality and immortality also the same meaning as chasing what happiness is? If we find out what that is exactly, then maybe we don't need to find out how to live much, much longer. I think we're at a point in our lives, a point in history where maybe we have enough right now. We just have to find out how to stay happy for as long as possible,
Right.
versus how to live as long as possible.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to live to 100 being miserable.
No.
You know?
And although a lot of people would agree with you, there are still some, maybe a minority, of people that will chase immortality.
For sure.
And if they succeed, then you would probably want in at that point.
But that's the thing with the race to find immortality or immortality is just that. It's a race right now, and maybe for them that's happiness. It's like, I want to be the first one. So
Yeah, that's their journey.
the journey.
That's the hero's journey,
yeah.
right?
They need to find themselves an
Would you?
I think you do.
So, singularity, which is essentially transferring your thoughts to a machine and living forever. Would you guys do it?
No.
For me, I've lived in this world where being mortal is the only thing that gives meaning to our life. And having had struggle with losing loved ones, I've always told myself, that's what gives life meaning, man. It's the fact that we all have this short amount of time on planet Earth. And if immortality were to be a real thing, it would destroy me knowing that those people that I've already lost have just missed the boat.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That would be devastating. That would be
There's a lot, like there was, I don't remember the guy's name, but that he said singularity will happen in 2050. Like he's convinced it's happening in 2050.
Kurzweil?
And so his whole goal is to stay, he's like 80 or 75 or something. And his whole goal is...
Ray Kurzweil.
That's him? Yeah.
Can you...
to stay alive
Can you
until
hop on
then,
Google?
because that's what he wants.
Yeah. Yeah. So that
Ray
will in turn,
Ray Kurzweil. Just want to know how old he is.
if we're able to put ourselves into a machine, is that machine, like he says, that is that machine now us, or is that an entire new person or human? And what does human mean now? Like, if AI is like a reproduction of ourselves, like, is that yourself? And if you shut it off, are you killing that person, that human?
That stuff is mind.
That's
Well,
like,
so
we need to read Homo Deus.
Could you go to jail because you deleted somebody? Like,
tripped over the wire of my computer and you shut it off?
What book do you want to read next?
What's that?
What book do you want to read next?
Homo Deus?
Yeah.
Is it Homo Deus or Homo Deus? Homo Deus sounds like
Homo
dropping
Deus.
a deuce, you know?
Deuce.
Let's just call it Homo Deus.
DEUS.
you should know what it is before.
But in a way,
Look it up.
your phone is doing just that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like it's always on you.
Yeah.
It's an extension of your brain.
Just like copying us.
Like it's anytime you need anything.
I think we're post-human right now. We're post-sapiens. We might not be 2.0, but we're definitely not 1.0.
We're very Star Trek-like
you know
right
what?
now.
Like maybe 1.1.
I'm with him.
Yeah.
Because we're still human.
Yeah. Like we don't have that. We still have that killer instinct.
That's okay.
We still
I
have that
can't
killer
wait
instinct.
to-
Everything that we've done is so far, we haven't changed that much. Like, take somebody from 70,000 years ago, we put him right here. He can do the same thing as we're doing.
Yeah.
So I don't think
Except
we've
I
changed
imagine
that
like much uglier with
But-
ugly teeth.
Are we healthier though? Like, are we healthier?
Well, we're living longer,
We're living longer.
but that's...
Are we
Due to
happier?
medicine.
I think that's
That
the
has a
question. Are
lot-
we happier?
Happier? I don't
So
know.
you were talking about mud huts and high rises. There is a part where he talks about someone that built his mud hut, and that's still going on today. Once it's built, he's super happy. There's a happiness, and that goes away in a moment.
He's just as happy as the guy,
As the
that
guy
just,
who purchases, downtown Manhattan
Penthouse.
skyrise penthouse. Like,
So here's another question then, okay? And it's
Ask
a little
away,
different analogy. You guys play in any recreational sports teams,
Yeah.
right? Whatever, hockey, baseball, whatever it may be. And whenever you win a
Pickleball?
championship, that moment that you win the championship, like you're probably just as happy and just as proud as somebody that just won the Stanley Cup.
The only difference with that a little bit, and I get the
what
point.
you're gonna say.
I get the point, but we have a million things in our lives.
Yeah.
And I see this because I have a friend that's in the NHL.
Okay.
So he would be more happy than me winning my championship.
Because he lived his entire life for this.
Exactly, and that's all he does.
Yeah.
Right? So that's all he does. But if all I do, for example, is, I don't know, the whole thing I'm doing is I want to be the record holder for selling the most houses in a year. And I work like 80 hours a week just for that. When I do achieve it, I'll probably be as happy as he is when he wins.
It all depends what's on the line. Like, what are you sacrificing? I think that's part of the equation, with the sacrifice versus the amount of happiness.
And you'll be happiest in the pursuit of that thing. I think that once you achieve it, you'll probably be happy for a fleeting moment.
Listen, there's
right?
the thing, I think what makes somebody happiest is being surrounded by the right people. Okay? There's nothing, that it's not even...
Like having those people die off one at a time, and then you realize how precious.
Have you heard the definition of happiness from Tony Robbins?
No.
So his definition is progress.
Right.
So when you're trying to do something and you're progressing, you're happy.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you're here and going there or you're here and going there.
Right.
It's the journey and it's the progress from moving forward. And I personally love that because anybody can be happy, and it makes the journey fun as well, going from here to here.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, because if there's one thing that I can't is measure happiness. Right. I don't know. Like, I've asked myself before, am I happy? I don't know. Things are going well, sure, but if I have that definition, I can be, right? As long as I work.
Do you remember Earl Nightingale?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was one of the things that I really picked up from him when I started listening to him. His definition was very similar. He said, happiness is the progressive realization of a worthy goal. So meaning, as soon as you have something that you want, and then to go from 1 to 2 all the way to 10 to achieve it, that's when you're happy. Doesn't matter if you're at 1, doesn't matter if you're at 0, as long as you're going. So I agree 100%.
Will Smith, he talks about this a little bit too, and he was saying that, he was talking about his wife at the time. He's like, it's not my responsibility to make my wife happy, okay? And it's not her responsibility to make me happy. I need to find happiness myself. She needs to find happiness herself, right? Like, being happy is your responsibility. It's not the responsibility of anybody around you.
Yeah.
Right? My job is not to make you guys happy. My opinion of you doesn't even matter to you because it's my opinion, not yours, right? And the same thing with happiness. I'm happy. It's not my job to make you happy. It's my job to make myself happy.
It's a very stoic philosophy. Right? Yeah.
It's sort of like that's the thing about happiness. But then when you're with your family, they're really making you happy. But are they making you happy, or are you just happy?
It's support. It's as important as making yourself happy. You need support. I don't think you can be happy all by yourself in the woods. I think you become miserable, you become lost.
That's absolutely.
Well, it depends.
You need to find a way to be happy
because everybody's different.
Yeah.
You and me cannot do this.
But you also need human contact, right? To be.
Well, it depends. So
wasn't that proven?
The amygdala and all of that.
I don't know.
Remember,
lived in the woods and had to fucking sneak out to meet people.
So, sorry, you were saying... sorry. You were saying that...
Well, so the amygdala...
Yeah.
How we react and how we're impulsive and our feelings and all that is different. We're at different levels. Yeah. So if somebody has, I don't know if it's high or low, but if you're very low, you don't feel that need as much. And you're just trying to be structured and do your own thing. And you're not bothered by everybody else. So maybe for that person, being alone in the woods is super interesting. And apparently, my brother-in-law told me this morning, there's a Joe Rogan podcast. The guy's Glenn Villeneuve, and he spent months in the woods. He told me to listen to that. So maybe if the guy spent sometimes 5 months without talking to anybody, and apparently was super happy, right? So I couldn't. I know.
In that what's that super prison?
We're gonna go a bit over 45 minutes. That's fine.
Solitary
not a problem.
Sorry, that's what it is.
That's a different thing.
That messes you up completely.
But can you really achieve anything worthy?
No.
While you're in solitary confinement. But if you're in the woods,
chest, just doing push-ups all day.
2 weeks ago, my girlfriend was away for essential oils seminar in Montreal, and I built our bed frame.
Wow.
And I was fucking happy.
Came back, you destroyed it.
That's why you were happy.
But like, it was something, and I was alone.
I had to say that.
I was alone. Going back to my garage, cutting the wood, coming back.
Yeah.
Hold on, you built it from scratch?
Built it from scratch.
Oh, that's different. I thought you just got one from like IKEA.
No. I got the wood, got the screws. I built it.
Destroyed it.
I measured out the mattress. I drew it out, and then, for 4 hours, that is what I was doing, and I was fucking pumped.
Good.
And I was alone.
But you had a goal.
Exactly.
You had an end goal. You had somewhere you had to be.
And like when you're making progress, when you're starting from this and going shopping and going this, like you're progressing towards your goal, which results in happiness.
Did you stain it?
No. It's I built the bed frame, but now I need to cap it with old barnwood. Fuck you, Pinterest.
You didn't know you had to cap it until she came back.
Yeah. She's like, oh, it's construction wood.
Just put a skirt over
sturdy.
that shit.
Yeah.
Buy like
No, it'll look good. But I only built the frame.
Some fabric.
It's pretty cool.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Well, you should bring a picture next time.
I will for
Is
sure.
it level?
It's level, sturdy.
Nice.
Winks
at me. It's sturdy. He winks at me. Don't.
It's sturdy enough.
Sturdy enough.
So,
sturdy enough for you guys.
hey, should we give our quick review?
I think we should. Yeah, we'll wrap this one up. We'll definitely come back to this author at some point. Right?
Yeah, he's got 2
I
other
already
books.
bought the second one.
There you go.
I'm gonna read it no matter what.
So he's got
This
3
is
books out.
My
right?
favorite.
So
Yeah.
Homo Deus and 21 Questions for the 21st Century.
21 lessons
For the
20.
So what's the order? Was this the first one?
Yes.
First one, Homo Deus. Second one, 21.
So
gotcha.
this is, I don't know what Heather's pick means exactly.
Heather
but-
is the CEO of Chapters. I asked them.
Okay, so good to know. But the lady that helped me find this book said that this is the better of the 3 books.
Okay.
Homo Deus is
I mean, it's
also
her
very,
opinion.
very good. But she said the third one is not as good. She said it's repetitive. I don't know. But I'm still down to read it. This guy is...
He's a great. So, are we going to rate this book?
Yes.
Are we doing this now?
Let's do that now.
I give it a.
pieces of bacon.
It's on 5, right?
That's why we gave you a bacon bookmark.
Yeah.
It's
Congratulations, you've
I've made the team.
made the team.
You've made the team. Welcome to the team.
It's on 5 bacons, right?
5 bacons.
I give it 5.
5 bacons?
Yeah,
man.
You can't give a
Whoa.
book 5 bacons.
Man, this is the best book I've ever read.
So-
You guys know that.
Can you give another book a 5 bacon?
Can I give another book a 5 bacon?
Yeah. I guess
could.
you're allowed to.
Yeah.
But can we go above 5? So you'll never read another book that's better than this.
Hey, there's a lesson to be learned with this book. Let's be content with 5. Let's have a cutoff
I'm
point.
giving this book a fucking 5.
Huh.
And I am very happy and
But
proud
that's
of my.
more than a 5. That's a fucking 5. That's more than 5. So
If I can go over 5 on 5,
it's gonna be a
I do it.
motherfucking.
No, we have to cap it at 5.
Okay.
Because
Yeah,
next one will be 6.
I'm
But
going
you know
with
what?
5.
I'm okay with your 5 because the next book we're gonna do is gonna be a 5 for me.
Yeah.
This
yeah.
one here?
Yeah, this book that changed my life forever.
Okay.
So
So before we introduce the next one,
Yeah.
and I agree with you, it is a great book. How did you find this book out of 5 bacons?
I love history.
Yeah.
At one point, so 5 on the first chapters. Then the book started to make me think. I didn't realize I was gonna start thinking while reading this. I was like, for a little while. But then I really enjoyed him. Like the guy is phenomenal.
Brilliant. He's one of the greatest thinkers of our
exactly.
time.
So when I made the switch, I started loving it. Like it's a good 4.5. Good 4.5 for me.
You disgust
Wow.
me.
I have the same opinion. though.
4.5 is very good.
I'm just kidding.
I have
very,
the
very
same
good.
opinion. Like the first few chapters, like when he started talking about Neanderthals and the other type of humans, I found that amazing.
Yeah.
And then
Anthropology is amazing. Yeah.
yeah, and then we jumped into farming and all that. I love that. The middle part of the book, not as much, and then the ending just made me want to read more and more. Like
It's a thick book.
I give it a 4.7.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. I want to leave room for Homo Deus
Yeah.
to be a 5.
That's good, man. So,
I would say that I like this book just as much as Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life. So I'm going to rate it the exact same at 4.8.
okay.
Oh, wow.
So 2 of my favorite books for sure. This one and
For sure.
12 Rules for Life.
Good job, Heather.
Heather's pretty solid, eh?
Pretty
with,
bang on.
You
yeah,
think she
yeah.
reads all these books?
Yeah.
Apparently she does. I spoke with the gentleman.
That's all
at
she
Shep.
does. How can she run a business and just read?
Hey, if your business is selling books, you better read them.
Well, a lot of successful people read 2 hours a day.
Yeah, 2 hours a day, but like
Like these 4
you
gentlemen.
walk into a Kohl's or Chapters and they're all Heather's picks.
No, but they do it consistently. But they aren't all Heather's
They
picks.
are though. There's like
No, but
big fucking.
they're not all Heather's picks. They're taking Heather's picks and putting them there so you see them. But there's a million in the back that are not Heather's pick.
That's true.
I don't know if she's read every
Start reading, Heather. We're on your ass. We're catching up.
We're catching up, Heather.
Cool.
You're on notice.
So next book?
Next book will be one that's very useful for the end of the year, I think,
Yeah.
and setting some good goals for 2020. So
Is next episode the last episode of the year, and then we're
Yes.
gonna move into 2020? Okay.
correct. So that's why
This one is on next Thursday.
next Thursday.
Okay.
We're gonna finish it next Thursday.
You know what? It's perfect because I'm doing my retreat. I'll read it at my retreat again.
There you go. There
Yeah.
you go. Are you going to be with us next Thursday?
I'll make it happen.
Right
I'm
on.
back on Wednesday. So
Okay, perfect.
I can't
So,
miss that one.
Darren Hardy, somebody that I've been following for a while. He actually ended up buying Napoleon Hill's old company, old magazine, Success Magazine. So he's in line with Napoleon Hill. And The Compound Effect is one of my favorite books. So I'm happy to read it again. And next week when we meet up, we'll have some good conversations about, what it talks about. And,
Awesome.
yeah.
Good stuff.
Anything else to add, gentlemen, before we wrap
Shout
this?
out to our
Jérémy
fantastic,
Prudhomme.
godlike.
Welcome
camera /
to
production producer guy.
the book club.
Yeah.
Thank you for the setup.
And Marty, thanks for this. Thanks for this book.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
my
Thank
Thank you
pleasure.
for this early Christmas gift.
And you're welcome for this
Joyeux Noël.
fantastic bacon.
Yes. Can't wait
Bookmark.
to start reading.
Cool.
Thank you.
So since we're doing this a bit more professional, is there any way I should log off?
Just look at the camera
Everybody?
and say your line. No, well, we can do everybody. There you go.
So
You
what's
can look at this camera and just.
Who's Whoopi Goldberg here?
Who's Whoopi
You
Goldberg?
guys have it live?
Isn't she the one that usually
Who's Whoopi Goldberg?
she's on The View? No.
so what would be a good sign off line? I listen to a lot of YouTube and they all have like
You know Dude Perfect?
reoccurring
You know
line.
Dude Perfect?
Dude Perfect?
Yeah. So
Yes.
there are a bunch of guys that do trick shots, and at the end they sign off, and
They're
they
from
have
Ottawa.
they sign off the same way every time.
What is it?
So it's like there's a camera in front. They're standing, not sitting, but it's like, all right. So the first one goes pound it, nugget, and like they're like high fiving the camera different ways on the way back.
Yeah.
So let's just try this. You start. You say something to the camera.
Okay.
Boom, 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 boom.
Like we follow each other like one
Yeah.
one word, and then we need to follow that.
A phrase. Your catchphrase. You know?
Right.
Like Batman.
Okay, so I'm supposed to think of a cat phrase and
Just say something, then he'll think of something else.
okay. Well, thanks for watching.
Mais c'est ça.
À la prochaine.
We'll see you next time.